to join the Fever and what's special about this opportunity for you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm really excited. I had some stint there at Golden State and it was a great time. So yeah, went over, played with Australia, won a gold there, and that was great. So just to be back in the W and have another crack is really exciting. Really grateful for this opportunity here with the Fever and just excited.
A player who was in China, halfway across the world, received an incredible call from the Indiana Fever just weeks after she had destroyed them with clutch three-pointers. They signed former competitor Chloe Bibby to a high-stakes 7-day contract because their star player, Caitlin Clark, was out due to injury, and the team's hopes of winning a championship were rapidly dwindling. However, this wasn't merely a last-ditch effort to cover a roster place. It was a calculated risk that exposed a covert scheme to address the team's most deadly weakness. The one thing that may make all the difference is the signing. And the tale of how it occurred is even more bizarre than you may imagine.
Big news, breaking news, Chloe Bibby, who was recently on the Golden State Valkyries, has been signed to the Indiana Fever. This is not a huge surprise to me. I have mentioned it in multiple videos. She was doing really well with the Valkyries. I think she was only with them for about 5 games, while a lot of their players went over to Eurobasket.
This story begins not in Indianapolis, but halfway across the world in a hotel room in China. That's where Australian forward Chloe Bibby was living the turbulent life of an international basketball player when she got the call that would change everything.
The thing I remember about Chloe was the fact that she could shoot, right? That's the main thing I remember about her. Watching her games with the Valkyries, if y'all don't remember that, she was on the Valkyries. I think she played for the preseason and she got signed again, didn't play like 5 games. She finished with like 42% shooting from the 3. So she could hit, man. She could really hit.
Chloe Bibby, the newest member of the Indiana Fever, you know, her fit and whether she's a long-term fit for the Fever remains to be seen. But on the surface, on paper, it makes a lot of sense. Because this is a team that has been in dire need of, in my opinion, of a stretch 4. And that is what Bibby, skill set wise, is capable of doing. We don't have a huge sample size to work with. Obviously, she had a short spurt with the Valkyries.
She is managing her career abroad while acclimating to several time zones and cultural norms. The next time, she's being called up to play for the WNBA's most scrutinized and followed team. No time was available for processing, packing appropriately, or taking a flight back to Australia for a short break. She left everything behind, took the first flight that was offered, and started the exhausting trek to America. It felt like a haze because the action was so quick, an adrenaline-fueled frenzy of airports and jet lag. It is extremely uncommon to be willing to uproot your entire life in a few hours in order to try your hand at a 7-day contract. It illustrates the Fever's dire need for resilience and hunger. Additionally, it reveals a player who has been fighting for this moment her entire career. But this wasn't just a random signing to fill a roster spot. The Fever had seen her talent up close, and they had learned about it in the most painful way possible.
I remember specifically her shooting. She was shooting that thing, man. She was stretching the floor, and the Indiana Fever needs that. They need somebody that can help stretch that floor, make it more dangerous at that perimeter, make the defense respect that perimeter just as much as they respect the paint presence, right? So she can help with that.
There were a lot of fans where the Fever are too slow. They want to play slow it down, grind it out basketball. Doesn't seem that way. Doesn't seem that way by the player they just signed and the messaging that is going across there. So that has to be reassuring for a lot of the fans. And Chloe Bibby seems to have a good head on her shoulders, a good attitude and a good approach.
Then, the Indiana Fever were unaware that Chloe Bibby was auditioning for them just weeks prior to that momentous call. Playing under a temporary hardship contract with the Golden State Valkyries, she faced the team that would eventually become her home as she took the court. She completely set them on fire. She made critical three-pointers and dropped 12 points in just 24 minutes of play, leaving a lasting impact with her composed, seasoned confidence. Despite being an opponent, she was simultaneously solving their largest on-court issue in front of them of their eyes. The kind of audacious, brazen performance that causes a front desk to take note and mutter, "Why isn't she on our team?" It was one thing to score against them, but BBY provided the precise lethal weapon that was sadly absent from their arsenal. She wasn't merely trying to get a place on the Valkyries. Unaware of it, she was preparing for her future in Indianapolis.
Brianna Turner is over there collecting dust. We need somebody off the bench that can come in with some size and rain threes until Damaris Dantis' shot begins to fall, and we go out and we get one, Chloe Bibby. Last time we saw Chloe Bibby, she dropped 12 points against the Indiana Fever. Wait for it, in her WNBA debut. She shoots over 40% from the field. She shoots over 40% from three.
Every opponent has been taking advantage of a critical weakness in the attacking strategy of the Indiana Fever. Defenses can collapse inward, erecting a wall around the hoop and stifling the attack when the amazing Aaliyah Boston dominates the paint. They've been in desperate need of a real stretch four, a player who can force defenders to be honest and drain threes from the outside, freeing up valuable room for everyone else. The missing component of the puzzle is Chloe Bibby at this point. Her three-point shooting percentage during her brief appearance with the Valkyries was an astounding 42.1%. That is not only a good statistic, it is a game-changing one. Her capacity to continuously hit from deep is the key that could unlock the full potential of both Boston in the post and Clark on the drive, transforming a predictable offense into an unstoppable one. While her WNBA stats are impressive for the limited minutes she played, they only tell a fraction of her story. To truly understand why this signing is such a potential game share, you have to look at what she was doing when the American spotlight wasn't on her.
She was with in the preseason, especially with the Valkyries, and I kept saying she could spread the floor, she makes the three. She would be a perfect pickup for the Indiana Fever, except they took forever to sign her. So I was like, maybe they're not going to sign her.
Chloe Bibby was secretly developing a covert resume as a global power before to rejoining the WNBA. She was dominating abroad, even though many American fans might not have recognized who she was. She wasn't merely a supporting player for Gorów Vaporsky in Poland's top professional league. She averaged an incredible 20.9 points and 5.9 rebounds per game, earning her the title of league's most valuable player. When she competed in the prestigious Euro Cup against Europe's best, her numbers were even more dominant. 22 points, 7.7 rebounds, and 2.2 steals per contest. These aren't just solid numbers. They are superstar-level statistics that prove she can be the focal point of an offense and carry a team on her back. She wasn't just a role player waiting for a call. She was a true star, perfecting her art on the global scene in preparation for the day when she would finally be recognized. However, earning prizes abroad is one thing. A distinct ego and mindset are needed to fit in with a team that includes a megastar like Caitlin Clark. The timing of this signing becomes extremely complex at that point.
For you when you got the news or got the call that the Fever were picking you up?
I was in China.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So how quickly were you, like, is it just scramble mode then coming over to the States, like pack a bag and go?
Well, yeah, I was already in, so I went from San Francisco to China, and so then I didn't really get to go back to Australia. So just from China, I was like, well, I already have some stuff packed, so then just come back over here, back to America. So yeah, it was good. It all happened pretty fast, but as I said, super grateful for the
Before
This move comes at a moment of deep uncertainty and swirling rumors for the Fever. Caitlin Clark is currently sidelined with a nagging groin injury, leaving a massive hole in the lineup and immense pressure on the rest of the team. At the same time, veteran forward Brianna Turner, a former All-Star, has been conspicuously collecting dust on the bench, sparking uncomfortable questions about the team's internal dynamics and coaching decisions. Into this tense environment comes BBY signed to a temporary 7-day hardship contract, a deal that makes her future precarious. Is she just a short-term patch to get them through Clark's absence? Or is this a high-stakes trial run for a permanent spot on the roster? A move that can indicate a significant change in the team's approach and possibly force the departure of another player. Bibby is under constant scrutiny in this situation, with every minute of her play being examined. Coach Stephanie White, however, is not taking her integration lightly. Her plan is surprisingly straightforward and extremely clear.
Well, yeah, I was already in, so I went from San Francisco to China, and so then I didn't really get to go back to Australia. So just from China, I was like, well, I already have some stuff back, so then just come back over here, back to America. So yeah, it was good. It all happened pretty fast, but as I said, super grateful for the opportunity.
Does it still feel chaotic now that you've been with the team for a day, or do you feel like a little settled now?
I feel a little bit settled. I have had a lot of sleep, which is great. So I think I've got over the jet lag a little bit. So feeling good.
You had the chance to go and play against this favorite team.
Yeah.
What kind of your impressions then, and how do you feel like you can fit into what they do?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, really physical team, tough, fast-paced, and I like that fast, style. So I think that suits me a lot.
This was not an act of panic or desperation. Stephanie White, the head coach, unveiled a well-thought-out, nearly brilliant plan to swiftly integrate BBY into the team. She informed reporters that the playbook would be purposefully condensed for her, keeping it straightforward and focused on her strongest points. Her role is very evident. Do your best work and be the stretch for a game with Aaliyah Boston. Shoot the three while extending the floor. She won't be able to pick up a complicated system overnight. She is not expected to change her approach. Getting her on the court and giving her the tools to have an instant effect is the aim. This lucidity indicates that the coaching team is a wise, decisive coaching move meant to produce results right away. A straightforward plan might be sufficient to win a few games, but championship teams are built on more than just strategy. They're built on chemistry and, in this case, a shared history of competition. Has accurately identified their exact weakness and found a player who is a perfect tactical fit.
I mean, it's a challenge always, anytime you're integrating, but I think at the position that she'll play for us, really being somebody that's in that stretch four, middle of the floor, there's not a lot of nuance to how we'll use her. We'll shorten the playbook a little bit, make it specific to ways that we can continue to stretch the floor when we put her on the floor with AB.
Today you had a rare practice.
So, that is pretty straightforward and simple from head coach Stephanie White. When you hear her say she'll fit in next to AB, which means it seems like the plan for Bibby is to play in Aaliyah Boston minutes, where of course Aaliyah Boston is playing a lot of minutes on the floor.
A forgotten past between the two players is what adds even more allure to this new collaboration. Caitlin Clark and Chloe Bibby were bitter rivals for years prior to their time as WNBA colleagues. In the fierce, high-stakes world of Big Ten college basketball, Clark's Iowa Hawkeyes and BBY's Maryland Terrapins squared off. They played against each other in fiercely contested matches in front of packed houses, each attempting to defeat the other. Their new partnership has an intriguing undertone from their past rivalry. Bibby has faced Clark's skill before, thus she has never been intimidated by it and is aware of the requirements to compete at that level. With two fierce rivals teaming up for a single objective, a WNBA championship, that old rivalry is now being revived as a partnership. From rivals in college to teammates in the workplace, their paths have finally intersected at the most crucial juncture.
I truly didn't see who could fit the Indiana Fever system that was available that hasn't already been taken by other teams. It did end up being kind of like the obvious answer, which is Chloe Bibby, who again, I think is a good signing. I don't think is going to change the landscape of the Indiana Fever basketball. I do like that she's young. I do like that she has young legs. I love that she does fit into a more modern style of basketball, 6 foot, plays outside of the arc. So I am very, 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 very curious to see how she does fit into the
College rivalries and individual stats are one thing, but a championship attitude is quite another. This is an intangible trait. It must be built via intense competition under pressure. And Chloe Bibby isolates herself precisely at that point. She has been a vital member of the Opals, the Australian national team, for many years, representing her country with pride on the largest stages in the globe. She played a key role in Australia's victories in the FIA World Cup and the FIA Women's Asia Cup, when they took home bronze and gold, respectively. It goes beyond simply playing well. It all comes down to understanding how to prevail when everything is on the line. She is aware of the discipline, sacrifice, and do-or-die elimination games require unwavering composure to win. BBY provides a significant dose of championship DNA to a young Indiana Fever club that is still learning how to win big games. A composed veteran presence that remains unfazed by the major events.
A lot of people are already speculating this is because of the Caitlin Clark injury. However, remember, after the All-Star break, they do have some more cap space, so they could sign her to a rest of the year contract. I'm guessing what's happening is, one, when she was cut from the Valkyries after her hardship contract, but had some really good games and showed some really good positive things that like any team would want. I'm actually surprised she hasn't gotten picked up. So my guess is that they think they want to sign her for the rest of the year, whether that means Caitlin's out or they just want a 12th person. Using this 7-day contract as a test to see how she does. They've got a couple of games coming up. We know Caitlin's out, at least she was out last night, probably still out for the weekend. We don't know a timeline on her return.
Bibby's worth extends beyond her shooting and mindset. She is a tactical, quote, Swiss Army knife for Coach Stephanie White because of her adaptable frame, which stands at 6 feet 2 inches. She's more than just a shooter. She is a versatile chess piece that may be used in a variety of lineup configurations to give opponents nightmares during matches. She can play alongside Aaliyah Boston in a conventional lineup, using her shooting to draw a defender away from the paint. She can, however, go into a, quote, small ball lineup in a more contemporary fast-paced system, possibly with Michaela or Natasha Howard on at the 5. With several shooters on the court at once, this would make for a nightmare floor layout, making the Fever's attack very dynamic and almost impossible to protect. Her coach can adjust on the fly thanks to her adaptability, which is a luxury that is crucial for a deep run at the championship. Ultimately, adding a player to a roster is just one aspect of the signing. Chloe Bibby has the potential to be the Indiana Fever's pivotal player. Their season might be defined by this high-risk, high-reward bet. She is the sniper who gave her an audition by outperforming them, the international MVP with a covert resume, and the committed professional who traveled all over the world for a 7-day opportunity. She provides the exact combination of skills they need, the seasoned expertise they don't have, and a silent desire to demonstrate that she belongs on the largest platform. The Fever have a strong basis in Boston and a transcendent superstar in Clark. They might have just discovered the last missing component needed to finish their championship puzzle, but will Caitlin Clark's move be the one that gives them the title that everyone has been waiting for? Or is this a desperate attempt that comes too little, too late? Now, the whole basketball community is keeping an eye out to discover.